When I see symbolism like this, where our main male character walks forward on the one-way sign, and we also see at the end of, this big long road, there's a white light, which is Yuri, it definitely makes me realize that this series is gonna be for me. As you all know by now, I love themes, hidden messages, and I love symbolism, and stuff like that, especially with the way the opening song was for episode 2 of Megalo. It really tickled what I wanted. For instance, seeing how Junk Dog was being described as a stray dog in the opening, you see this dog just walking by itself in this long road, scarred up, beat up, and eventually you see to where this dog is walking just down like a dead-end road. And you see, as the dog is walking, you see the flashes back and forth to the motorcycle and then the dog, which once again makes the comparison and the symbolic message of how Junk Dog is, a dog, makes it very obvious. But, anyways, besides all of that, though, I do want to talk about that opening song before I get anything else. The opening song for Megalo, I dare say, it's probably one of my favorite opening songs of this anime season. Not gonna lie, I liked it quite a bit, and visually, oh my god, okay, I know the opening song was mainly just RMC Junk Dog or Joe walking as a dog and all of that, but regardless, it was just so beautiful. I really love the art. I mean, I cannot express that enough, not just for the opening song of this episode, but the art in general for Megalo is just something else. I mean, you could see that amongst all the other series from this anime season, this one definitely stands out, at the very least because of the art style and just the dedication and different touches on the characters. I like that. Now, anyways, Megalo episode 2. It spends a lot of time building up the world, giving characterization, and also kind of making us hyped up for things to come. Number one, we get to go into the Yuri versus Junk Dog fight at the beginning of this episode, and many of us, let's be real here, okay, even though it's amazing to see our MC go up against the champion and all that, because it's nice to see right at the start, it's also kind of like set up for him getting payback, like, a grudge match, taking this man down once he finally reaches the top once again. And that's kind of what the beginning of the episode was for. When Junk Dog was facing Yuri, and you had it to where Yuri was just saying, like, I will only use one hand and all that, my one arm, to be able to fight you, basically showing this cocky side to him that he's way better than Junk Dog. Junk Dog cannot even be on the same level as him. He was just being very arrogant. And when that scene was going on, I'm like, is RMC gonna get defeated? Like, is he gonna, get defeated by this man using one arm? But as it continued going on, we realized that no, Yuri actually had to use both hands to be able to deal with Junk Dog. Now, at the end of the day, it's very apparent that Yuri is a way better Megalo fighter than Junk Dog is. Especially with how he was able to have, like, a fake out, and then he attacked him from up above like he did in this episode. But even then, though, it takes obviously a lot of skill to be able to force someone that's acting that arrogant to just use one arm and all that, and force them to use their other just to be able to defend themselves. Because if he didn't do that, Junk Dog would have won right then and there. And so at that moment, it's kind of like Yuri found a whole new level of appreciation for Junk Dog. It doesn't seem like he's going to admit it, and he will not probably admit it maybe until the end of the series, but it's very obvious from his character expression and the way he looked at Junk Dog in that moment, was that he realized that Junk Dog has a lot of potential. He has this potential to be one of the greatest Megalo fighters if he really trains and has, the time and effort to do it. And I like the little ending part of this match to where he's like, I'm done with fighting in this ring and all that. Basically, it's Junk Dog's ring. That's what this ring is, because even though he, froze matches a lot and he constantly loses, at the end of the day, we all know that Junk Dog is way above almost everyone else there when it comes to these, underground fights. So he is basically the champion of this ring, and it's his ring. And that is why you have Yuri walk off and it's like, I don't want to fight in this ring anymore, I want you to fight in my ring, or, you can come to my ring to fight me. And that's kind of him saying, like, next time, I will be defending my home turf, and I will be going all in. Because, see, Junk Dog, he basically proved that he was the king of his ring. He forced Yuri to not, look at him and take him lightly because he had to use both arms. So, at that moment, it's kind of like Junk Dog won. Even though Yuri knocked Junk Dog out, like he managed to get like a 10-second KO, Junk Dog still won because he managed to force the man to not be arrogant. So, it's a win on both sides. Yuri may have won, like, the battle, but Junk Dog is going for the end of the war. Like, he's trying to win it completely. Okay, so leaving off of that, let's talk about the elements of the world building or characterization. So we get a little bit more, development to the Mafia side of things and what's going on with our other, main character of this story, the manager that overlooks Junk Dog. So, as we know, Junk Dog and his manager, they have been participating in these underground fights to be able to pay off debts. I believe this was established in the first episode. It was, like, briefly mentioned, but it wasn't a big thing and it wasn't focused on that much. But, however, we have it to where they're doing these fights because they need to get money, and the manager needs to pay off his debts. And as we all know, when it comes to Mafia or anything like that, if you don't, make money or pay back your debts, then usually you're going to be sleeping with the fishes. Let's be real. So, obviously, there's a lot of weight on the manager's shoulder, and he needs to be able to keep Junk Dog in line. If Junk Dog doesn't continue to throw matches and keep doing what is being asked of him, then it's going to lead to a lot of problems where all of their lives are on the line. As we know, Junk Dog, it doesn't seem like, in reality, he would care too much if he was to be killed off by the Mafia. I think he would be kind of upset he didn't probably get to see greater heights and all of that, but I believe at the end of the day, because of how his character has been characterized, I don't think at the end of the day he would care too much if he was to die. But, I mean, at the very least, the manager, he apparently really does love his life, and we also get a little bit of insight to his character and kind of how he feels about Junk Dog in the first place. Now, when the Mafia head honcho was confronting the manager, the man was, like, bowing down. He's like, I'm sorry. You legit see this man slam his head up against the tabletop, which just shows that he is truly sorry. When you see his just blood leaking out, that just shows this man really does not want to die, just going that far. But then, when everything is said and done, he's like, okay, he throws the knife at the manager. He's like, take out your other eye and all that, and all will be good. And you gotta imagine, that's messed up. The man only has one eye, so he wants the other eye gone just to be able to make up for this mistake and not being able to throw that match with Junk Dog. And eventually, he decides to pull out the Megalo box, like, tournament poster, and he's like, we will be competing in this, and we will win this. Now, obviously, this is a big bluff, and I do like how the manager is very self-aware of that. He realizes, like, look, we're frauds. Me and Junk Dog are frauds. We are a people that constantly bluff our entire life to be able to get to where we are, and it shows that he's very self-conscious about how he is as a person, but at the same time, at first it looked like he was going to throw Junk Dog under the bus, but then he decided to side with him, and is like, no, I'm going to go with Junk Dog, and I want to try to get this man to have his dream while saving my butt at the same time. So, nice stuff right there. I think the way this episode kind of dived into the manager's character, it gave me a proper enough amount of information for me to care about him and not think he's annoying or he hates Junk Dog. Because with the first episode, it's very obvious that there was a relationship there. For Junk Dog to be working with the manager like he is, there has to be some more history between them, and there has to be something more to the story. Because, I mean, if Junk Dog didn't kind of care about the manager, I don't think he would have stuck with the manager throwing matches that long from what we got established with the first episode. So there obviously is a connection between these two. They're probably very long-term friends or whatever. I have no idea. But I mean, when you see how he actually doesn't throw him under the bus in episode 2, it allows us to know that he's a good man at the end of the day. He may be in it for his own self-interest and survival, but he is betting everything on Junk Dog winning for he is not killed off. So there's higher stakes, actually, in this anime than normal sports, because I know that this is like a different, like, breed of sports anime, but at the end of the day, it's still, I guess you consider it a sports anime. And normally when it comes to sports anime, you have like this conflict in the background to force the characters to improve and try to get better. For instance, like Ace of Diamonds did not kind of like spoil a lot of things. In Ace of Diamonds, you have it to where our characters are trying to get better and get to like nationals and stuff because they want to be able to make the send-off for one of these characters completely excellent, just amazing. And so that's kind of what constantly happens in sports anime and manga. But the conflict here is a lot more dire, because if Junk Dog does not win, his friend, the manager, if he is a friend, he's gonna get killed. So, yeah, I just like the conflict so far. I like the characterization. Art style's been very good. It's been consistent. I mean, I think right now, so far, we have a really solid anime series on our hands. So, what else is there left to really talk about? I mean, music, I guess. I mean, I guess let's dive into that music. So, I know I mentioned it, in my last episode review, or my first impressions, but my god, the music of this series is absolutely spectacular. Like, yo, this is probably my favorite soundtrack of the season, of Spring of Anime 2018. This is probably my favorite soundtrack. Now, obviously, this could change with time, depending on when more soundtracks pop up for certain shows, like, for instance, Steins Gate, Boku no Hero, if there's new soundtracks and stuff. But I'm just saying, for now, from listening to the soundtrack of Megalobox, this is definitely my favorite soundtrack so far. So I'm very happy to see that this series is remaining consistent. It doesn't seem like it went down in quality or anything at all with this episode. In fact, it was even better in my personal opinion than the first episode. So that's saying a lot, actually. But I think I want to end this video here. I mean, if you have yet to watch Megalobox, go out of your way and watch it. It's definitely a dark horse of this season. It has a lot of potential to be even one of the best series of the year. And I especially love just the little references here and there to the original, like, series Ashita no Joe. Now, I don't actually read or watch the original series. I don't, but I know some details about it, just to clarify. And I do know that this is like a homage to that. And when our MC Junk Dog decided to call himself Joe, it was a reference to Ashita no Joe. Hopefully I'm saying the name right. Like, it's a reference to that. So, I do like that. I like how this series is respecting the original and all that, kind of what inspired this. So, just good stuff. So, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And I love you guys. Please be safe. Chibi out.